See, I got to go live now because I'm sitting here drinking this coffee. That's the color, the correct color to match this doggone zit that I keep trying to hide. To touch up my appearance will not hide, and my processor is strong enough where it should. But
Uh-huh.
this Fenty costs too much. This is 50 cents of Fenty right here that I just put on this zit.
Wow.
Riri needs her money for them babies, so yeah, I'm trying to get it together. I'm trying.
I'm in a whole like I'm too hot to I'm too hot and too tired to be putting makeup on, so I'm just sort of embracing the zits right now. I'm like, if I have a lot of zits, the whole world is just gonna be here to witness it because I'm too tired. Like genuinely, like the past like few months has been like me, because I used to always be a little bit more made up, and the past few months I've been disintegrating into like a permanent state of that just out of pure exhaustion.
Mm,
So just whoa, but yeah.
I know how that goes. I
Hmm.
know. Adulting is pure exhaustion. This whole year has been pure exhaustion.
Yes,
Um,
correct.
this has been one of the strangest on record. Yeah, and touch up appearance has gotten everything but this quarter of my forehead because it is. Yeah, that's a lot of forehead. Okay, that half of my forehead, and it obviously does not blur out nappiness. So, hi everybody, welcome to your comedy bestie with your homegirl Erica Switzer. It is episode 16, and I am here on this very very hot Tuesday evening with the one and only Dana Norris.
Hi.
What's going on, Dana?
What's going on? I'm drinking my water. I'm outdoors right now. It's just like a nice armpit, and I've been pounding hella Pedialyte today. So that's what's going on.
If y'all don't know, I'm pretty sure it's a heat wave in most of the country that's probably watching this or paying attention, unless you're in beautiful California, where I believe Sunnyvale is chilling at about 59 degrees. When I looked
Mhm.
earlier, this is crazy. We are in the
Mhm.
middle of another scorcher. And Dana is outside because when it's hot like this, sometimes outside is one of the best places to be.
Well, it was so I'm currently my lease is ending, and me and my best friend we're gonna be living together. But while we're locking down our place, we're staying with some friends of ours. And sometimes, I don't know if in life, when families that you're staying with are having massive confrontations with each other, sometimes the most aligned thing to do is be in St. Charles while they are sorting out their massive confrontation as a family. So, and sometimes that's just how life goes. That's just the ebb and flow of the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. And St. Charles is a nice place to hang out too. I got to
Yeah.
admit. It's
Yeah, there's like a whole ass river and everything.
it's nice out here in the burbs. Y'all need to come visit us in the stick sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Get your
Mm-hmm.
peace of mind.
Yeah.
It's,
Chicago is an adventure for sure.
well, so now that we're already talking about the lay of the land, let me backtrack a little bit. Are you from here? I forget. I don't know if I ever asked you if you grew up in the Chicago area.
Yeah, I grew up in Aurora. After high school, I went to Austin. I was there for a year. Then I was in New York for another 3 years. And then since the pandemic, I've been back in Illinois, living in the burbs and then in Chicago.
Okay. Nice. So you've gotten a chance to get a nice array of like different living experiences and stuff, different
Very,
comedy
very much so.
experiences.
Yeah.
When you were out in Austin and New York, did you get a chance to perform, or was it just visiting and teach and studying or whatever?
I was in Austin. I was working as a teacher at this performing arts school, and that's where I actually did my first couple comedy open mics. And then I was in New York and I did theater stuff, and I did actually a lot of comedy when I was there. Um, and yeah, just like shows and theater and whatever. So that's kind of what I did.
Very awesome. And so you've been in the Chicago scene since you've been back in the pandemic. Um, what do you prefer, like out of those three big? bustling comedy scenes. What did you like?
So, uh, when I first started in basically, I'd only done a couple mics in New York. So basically, when I was in New York, I was brand new to it. So the experience of being brand new and not very good at stand up is very different from being in a scene after you have some experience under your belt. And so I can, like, in a lot of ways, I have more of a positive experience doing comedy in Chicago, but I don't know if that's a reflection on the scene or I'm just having a better time because I'm getting to do better shows now. And also, I'm more emotionally mature of a person because I'm older. Like, I was 21 when I was in New York and a train wreck. So, like, was the scene better or was I better? Like, I actually do think there's a lot of, like, opportunities in New York. However, you have 5 times the amount of competition. So you
Mhm.
have to compete so much harder just for the most basic stage time. Um, so that's kind of the trade-off, I guess, you get.
Wow. Yeah, and that's something I don't think a lot of people think about when they're saying, "Oh, well, I want to go to this scene. I want to check it out. I
Mm-hmm.
want to experience it." And I know
Yeah.
that I've come across people who I have met virtually um, during the pandemic, and then they wound up moving here and say, "Oh, well, Chicago was this, that, 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 that." Basically, a lot of what you just said, you'd have to wait to meet the experience,
Yeah.
or the experience meeting you.
Yes. Yes.
And then Chicago is just its own interesting place for stand up. New York is so different than Chicago in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Uh, what, if any, what features of the New York scene did you like, or do you miss, or do you wish were in Chicago?
Um, There, on McDougal Street, there's just like a strip of clubs like Grizzly Pear and Greenwich Village in the Cellar, and that was what I always liked. Is you could go. My friend Dean would joke it would take you like 20 minutes to get down McDougal Street, because and the barking is much more of a thing there. It's not really a thing in Chicago. So you would walk down the street, and I would see people I knew like down for blocks and blocks, just out like barking on the street or like loitering in front of the different clubs. I miss that. That was fun. I miss being in when I was in the city. I would run into like people just I knew in on the trains all the time. And I guess you could still do that in Chicago. But I drive my car everywhere. I didn't have a car back then, and so I liked that aspect of the cult. What I liked, it's cool being somewhere where everyone is so good. Um, and it's cool to like I would sometimes I'd be like barking because the whole system is set up to like exploit you when you're desperate for stage time. So they're
Mm.
like, here, bark for 6 hours, and then you can get 7 minutes at the Grizzly Pear on the show that already has 46 people on the lineup. That was kind of the vibe. So you'd be like barking, and then you'd like see like Amy Schumer walk down the street on the way to the cellar, like, and that was just cool. And uh, I like that. I much prefer to not do that now.
Mm.
And it's also very like the early stage grind is you do all that and then you hit a certain point where you're like the amount of time I'm spending is no longer productive, and then you rethink what matters and like what kinds of shows you're willing to do and what kind of commutes are you willing to do, whereas like when you start out you're just so desperate for like any time you can get. I used to intern at Broadway Comedy Club. I did that for like 6 months and it was the same thing. I would like work a 6 hour shift, like, and then I'd get like a 5 minute spot on a 1 a.m. on a Tuesday. And so like I always tell like newer comics who are doing different internships at different clubs, I said, put a time limit on how long you will be there because the system it is set up to exploit the fact that you're desperate for stage time.
Mm.
So like, don't let them basically do it for 2 months, get the connections, whatever, and then piece the fuck out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. We don't have folks, busking for tickets like that. Not nearly
yeah,
as hard in
no,
Chicago.
no, definitely not.
But on top of it, and that is a very New York feature, um, having folks out there pandering to sell tickets for spots. That's the other thing. The coasts get known as pay to play type spaces
Mm-hmm.
where, yeah, bringer shows. Uh, Yeah, they'll tell you you got 8 minutes, but you got to bring 5 people with you.
Correct. And
Or,
if you don't, they'll threaten you that you won't even get to go up.
and I had one of them happen. I said, nope, I got my one homie right here and he's recording. Oh, no, we're recording. Okay, great. Give me my tape when I'm done.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
did. And it went viral. It was fun.
That's great. But it's
Um,
not even, sorry, I interrupted you. It isn't just the comedy scene, the entire entertainment industry is set up to exploit the fact that there are more people who want to be performers than there are actual jobs available. So whether it's theater, television, whatever, there is an entire business around making money off of people who want to break into the industry. Whether it's comedy or you pay to audition or whatever the fuck. It's very exploitative
yeah.
in general.
Yeah. And thank you for bringing that up and speaking truth to power about that, because some people think this shit is still sweet or this
Yeah.
shit ever was sweet, and it's never been. But it's, again, it's how low you're willing to go
Yep.
to say, oh, this is the value I put on my craft. This is
Yes.
the value I put on 5 to 8 minutes of my
Yes.
performance. I
Correct.
think I'm going to stand out here and give myself for this and get hardly anything in return. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. You got to know your worth out here in these streets.
Yeah. Well, and also like being realistic about where you're at. Like when I was 21 and had barely done any comedy, it makes sense to go, I'll do free shows. I'll do X because you don't have bring a certain level of value to the table. But at a certain point when you do know what you're doing, you deserve to be paid for your time and not be taken advantage of. And that I just yeah.
Absolutely. And that goes for anybody in any industry, but especially in entertainment.
Mhm.
Um, arm yourself up with that knowledge.
Yeah. And like I have found finding the line between asking for the appropriate amount and demanding too much, there's a sweet spot. Because if you demand too much, I have noticed you will lose opportunities. Because people go, oh, you're asking for way too much. I'll find someone else who will do it at a lower price. But if you
Mhm.
ask for too little, it looks like you don't value yourself and you can be taken advantage of. So there's a sweet spot where you have self respect, but you're not um, basically asking for so much you're losing work.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for mentioning that and bringing that up. You are a multidisciplinary artist. You are singer, musician, actress. You dance a little bit too.
Yeah, I danced really seriously growing up.
Multi-talented. How? When did you just say, I know I want to do all these things? Like, was this something you were just growing up and you just had so many different interests, or like, what made Dana Norris say, I got all this, baby, let's go?
Um, so I started doing Christian theater when I was really little because my sister was. And then I kind of got into dance when I was a young kid. And I was homeschooled. I was really struggling academically. And my parents told me, we don't think you're ever going to be able to have a job or go to college, basically because you suck at school, but we think God has something for you. So we're going to pay for you to take ballet really seriously, basically because this seems to be the one thing you're capable of. So, which in retrospect is crazy. That's fucking nuts. That's an insane thing to be saying to someone who's like 11. Um,
Absolutely.
so I was training really seriously, like ballet, like 6 days a week and working really hard because I didn't know anything. I was like, well, if I can't ever have a job and I suck at school and this is my one thing, I better be very good at ballet. And so I did end up getting good because I was like, this is all I got. This is my one chance in life. And so, and then my best friend was really interested in musical theater writing, and we were very, very close. And then at a certain point, I really, really needed to leave home because my family situation was complicated. And by a coincidence, my best friend had made friends with this woman who ran this performing arts school in Austin. And they're like, if you ever move here, you can be a teacher. And I was like, okay. And then a week later, I moved. And I lived there just teaching dance and like teaching theater. And then I was in doing comedy and like theater stuff in New York, and I got this idea for this musical that I've been working on for about 5 years. And and I had this epiphany that like I think musical theater writing is what I want to pursue. The problem is I didn't play any instruments and I couldn't read music. So I was like, well, I guess I better learn a couple different instruments. And I guess I better read some books on screenwriting, and like how you put a story together, and like playwriting, and like there are books on lyrics, there are books on like all of those things. And I'm like, I was like, I know I don't have any of the skills to do this. I believe this is what I'm being called to do, so I better just start. And so I originally started with working on screenwriting, working on lyric writing. And then a couple years later, I was like, okay, now I'm going to teach myself guitar. And then like a year later, I was like, okay, I'm going to teach myself piano. And then like a year after that, I was like, okay, now I'm going to teach myself how to orchestrate, like using GarageBand or whatever. So I'm going to start getting slightly more complex with how I understand music theory and like whatever. And I've been basically putting all the pieces together to be able to do what I wanted to do. Because when I got into stand-up in Austin, because I saw Bo Burnham do a special, and I was like, holy shit, this is such high art. But I didn't play any instruments or anything, so all I could do was stand-up. And I was always, what I really wanted to do was music, though. But I had to learn to play those instruments before that was even on the table. And so being able to do those things took a few years. But I just feel if Donald Trump is allowed to be shit at his job and be leader of the free world, I cannot have experience and put the skills together I need to do shit. I'm not even kidding. When he became president, I was like, why do I ever doubt that I can do?
Why did it cut off at the best part? She was getting ready to jam. She was snapping. She was cooking. She was telling the truth. And you see how they cut off nasty stuff? See, I don't like that. She was telling the truth. Don't do that, sis, from her. She was talking about you know who, old President Cheeto Head, and she was right. If Cheeto Head can get in there again and lead us to where we're at and fealty, yes. Amen, sis. Hold on.
Okay. Back.
It caught off at the best part.
Yeah. Donald Trump literally called the Prime Minister of Japan, Mr. Japan. And he's the leader of the free world. Why do I ever doubt that I can do anything? He called the Prime Minister of Japan, like, Mr. Japan. And I'm over here like, oh, I wonder if I'm good enough to perform at Laugh Factory. The fuck? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
He called him Mr. Japan, but you're right. You were absolutely right. There are so many people out there doing more with less every single day. Y'all, the fact that this young lady sat here and said, I didn't know how to do it, but I picked up a book and I learned how to do it. And I didn't know how to do the other one. And so I picked up a book and I learned that. And I taught myself this and I taught myself that. Why don't more of you say this? We are on Al Gore's internet and y'all don't say this type of stuff.
I think part of it is like, one, I was homeschooled, but two, I didn't really have as much access to outside education. Like I didn't have SAT scores, I didn't have ACT scores. Like my parents, like college just was not a thing for me. And so, I knew that if I wanted to learn shit, I had to just read books about it. Because there was no money for college, and even if I had wanted to go, you have to have ACT scores and SAT scores, and I would have had to do so many gen eds at community college for any kind of college to be on the table. Right. So at a certain point, I'm like, I'm not going into debt. I'll just read a book.
Okay, it's that simple.
Yeah.
And these days, you ain't even. Look, she picked up a book. Dana, you have no idea. When I was student teaching back in the day, almost 20 years ago, because I'm old, I'll say that. I used to have these visions of, oh no, all these kids are going to have smartphones. They're going to have all the information right at their fingertips. They're not going to need me. You said you actually picked up books. This is what I'm talking about. People don't pick up books anymore. People don't read, let alone even look at like infomercials and crap. informatics on screen and be like, well, what's that? I guess it's good, right? It look that's a big part of the pie, right? No, pick up books. God, yes. Okay.
Like there's just a lot of really good information in books. So if you don't know things, odds are someone else has written a book about it. And, so like
And in this
sometimes
day and age, obviously somebody has created a website about it and probably left it deserted for a few years. But it's there. The
yes.
information is there.
Like sometimes there'll be just be like a topic I want to know something about, and so I'll Google like what are the best books on this topic, and then a few of them will pop up and I'll be like, okay, this one has like 5 stars, people seem to like it, cool. And then I'll like go on my Spotify and I'll be like, they have it as an audiobook and it's free, cool, or like something like that. And like I know very little. Fortunately, there's like other people who know stuff I don't know. So, you know.
And see, you know ways to get it. So that's another way to search in this day and age of getting information. People, we are on YouTube right now. I hope that you stay tuned here, and I thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like what we got going on. Matter of fact, every little like, every little subscribe, every little share helps push us along the algorithm and helps me get seen in front of people who actually want to see my old black ass. But you know what? This is what I do this for, to be able to chat with my peers and stand up and in entertainment and be able to say, yeah, this is how you got started. What the hell? Look at that. I love it. I love it. Also on Al Green's internet, you can get here on YouTube, which is basically world's best repository of knowledge, and find out about anything that you want to find out about. So if you're just struggling and then trying to get ideas, type them ideas into your YouTube search bar and see what happens.
Yeah.
You may wind up finding hidden information from the deep, all mystified. You shouldn't have secret knowledge and stuff that's not so secret because it's on YouTube and it passed some censors. You know what I'm saying? Like, get it. You always wanted to know? No. Some shit you don't need to know. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone. Don't touch it.
You gotta, if you research too many weird things on YouTube, that your algorithms start giving you weird shit. I'm like, the fuck was that? No.
Yeah. One night I looked up and I had folks that looked like they was in a river or waterfall in Thailand with cute little like luau shirts on and shit. And I didn't know. I was like, we got spicy time on YouTube. Y'all
yeah.
Ooh, what you doing under that water?
Weird, lot of strange things on YouTube. I have my YouTube is like it's musical theater, it's guitar and like piano tutorial videos. It's really nerdy people talking about like writing tips, and then it's like random YouTubers talking about like spirituality and shit with varying degrees of competency. And like you always got to be cautious with like YouTube spirituality, but like that's kind of the bulk of my algorithms.
I go to church on YouTube. My favorite pastor is out in Houston, but I faithfully join on Sundays at 12:15 just to see what's going on at time of celebration down in Houston. But that is, you can find what you want. I haven't watched terrestrial TV in about 12 years because I've watched YouTube left and right.
Yeah.
Or I'll stream occasionally on Amazon or Hulu or Peacock in case there's a movie or a special or a new reality show or something. I might be tapping for Fleek Reality. But yeah, like it's out there. The information is out there.
I think it's just about like genuinely wanting to do it and then enjoying the process, because like there's a lot of people where they might think like, oh, I want to learn guitar, but when they get into the nitty gritty of doing it, they don't actually enjoy it, so it's too hard to stick with it. Like you have to want to learn but then actually enjoy the process of the practice. Like you have to, it's the same with comedy, you have to enjoy, everyone wants to be a comic, but you have to like doing open mics or doing shows and putting up with the bullshit to stick with it,
Absolutely. You could say that last part again and again because that's the majority of it. Putting up with the bullshit and rolling with it. This is
Yeah.
the majority of what we do with stand up. Um, you've been all around so far. What's your favorite place or favorite venue to perform?
Um, as far as in Chicago, for different reasons. So I have really enjoyed Zanies because the vibes there are my favorite. I just enjoy the vibe of the club. Some of these clubs seem haunted to me. And sometimes I'll be
Mm.
walking around the club and I'll be like, I feel like I just walked into a weird energy. And then I sound insane to be like, I think Laugh Factory is haunted. I think Laugh Factory is haunted. That's just my hot take. But that's whatever. I like performing at Laugh Factory because it's such a big room. I feel like I have permission for my energy to like expand, and I like to have the freedom to be more physical with comedy. So if I want to pace or I want to do a punchline and then really quick beeline across the stage, you can do that on a bigger stage. It drives me nuts that so many comedy clubs are like, here's a massive room. You have 3 feet to stand on. I'm like, what the fuck? No disrespect to clubs like CG's or the Comedy Vault, but they have these massive rooms and the stage is like a foot wide. I'm like, I feel like I have to I'm just like on this tiny little stage and it's this huge room, which is fine if you're a comic that's very very still, but if you are someone who's more physical, it does limit you a little bit.
Yeah. We're talking the difference of a stage that's literally probably 5 by 5 pallets
Yes.
versus a 2 pallet stage.
Yes. Like I am of the opinion that just comedy is a different type of theater. And so I like to approach comedy in a way similar to like I would if I was in like a regular play or musical or whatever. So when there's such this feel almost claustrophobic feeling
Yeah.
of this tiny stage with no space to move, it's just not for me as conducive to performing as more playing space.
And I gotta agree with that. And anybody who knows me and who has followed me, if you knew, what is it, late 21 through 22, I was up at Laugh Factory monthly and enjoying the hell out of it. And there's a joke I do now where I put extra legs and tags on it where I wish I had that stage to go ahead and scoot that butt on back and
Yes,
have more fun
yes.
with it. It's true. You get that much stage and you know that your act has that bit of physicality in it, milk it, use it.
Yes.
I don't think a lot of stand-ups still do physical comedy as much, and there is an art to it.
Hmm.
If that is your thing, I just
Yeah.
have act outs where I like to goof around. But in Dana's case, she's right. She's giving all that energy, giving that performance with music. It's another dimension where you're channel. I mean, you're in there. It's a different
Hmm.
kind of energy.
Hmm.
And then you want to captivate the audience to fill that space up with that energy. And Laugh Factory is a great place to do that. I mean, fill it
Yeah.
up with good energy. I mean,
Yeah.
Laugh Factory is that place to
Yes.
have that fun.
Yeah.
Um, CGs and Comedy Vault do have tiny, tiny stages.
Well, and like I I think everyone should just be who they are on stage. For the people who are super still and that's more their vibe, love that. People have to live their authentic truth. But likewise, if you're not that, don't be that. And you shouldn't have to be. And my it's really cliche, but my mother says like we all just have to be who we are.
Mhm.
And I'm like, Marianne is right. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're the kind of comic that just, likes to stand there and rattle them off like you're on a late night show, so be it.
Yeah.
We like to go ahead and spread that love around.
Yes. I think one of the biggest differences for me doing comedy as I've gotten older is trying, but like before shows now, the priority is more how do I make this a communal experience for everyone where people in
Mm,
the audience feel like they're all there, they're all participating, they're all included, and it's more of I want everyone in the audience to feel like they're in the club and we're
yeah.
all having fun. Whereas I feel like when I was younger, I was more just like how do I make sure I do a good job and everyone likes me? But I feel like not just with comedy, but with theater, giving everyone a communal experience
Mhm.
is like uh more important even than whether or not you feel like you did good, because it's not ultimately about you. It's about the audience
Right.
having a good time. And that I feel like that's just, I don't know, it's just has taken me like years to figure out.
Well, I've enjoyed from the small amount of years I've known you is just watching you feel yourself and be comfortable on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I've enjoyed, I love your musical comedy,
Thank
because you
you.
do have some wise cracks in there, but you're also a great writer outside of just doing your musical jokes. So it's always fun to watch you perform. And
Thank you.
I'm thinking right now back to Big Black Comedy, one of those last times we performed. And that
Mhm.
gosh, I'm like, wow, it's been almost a year since we performed together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just always fun watching you and seeing that growth. And I love that you take it the way you take it and you're committed to your crafts. Girl,
Thank
that
you.
I love having you in the community.
Thank you. I
Okay.
love being in
If
the community.
if that hasn't been said enough, I think you should know that, Dana Norris.
Thank you.
Um, and I hope that you keep getting them good bookings that you want. What's been so we talked about the smaller stages. Has there been any other venues where it's just not been, or you don't have to name names? You can mention locales. But
Hmm.
has there been any places where it's just kind of like, I've tried, or
Are you saying just in terms of shows or in terms of like
venues or
venues?
shows? It depends.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I've I did a lot of shows in some more rural areas in Wisconsin in the past couple of years because I wanted to know that I was versatile enough to play rooms that weren't just really liberal rooms in Chicago. And but which is a good skill to have as a comedian. However, at a certain point, you do have to accept what your target demographic is, and the reality is that libs like my comedy way more than conservatives.
Mm.
And now, if I do like only sex jokes, the conservatives are fine with it because sex isn't actually taboo or threatening. But a lot of the things that I talk about will be more likely to upset people if they are a little bit more conservative. And
Mhm.
so I definitely have had some very interesting bombs in small towns in Wisconsin where everyone is wearing camouflage. So we've been there.
That's self-explanatory. Your stuff is not for the Bash Pro set. I understand. The
No.
Cabela set, mm-mm. Nope.
Eventually, I would like to have material that I can do in those regions. And always have a high kill rate. The caveat is that I need to make sure that what I am saying is provocative in some way and challenging in some way. Um, because I who I am, I'm not a milk toast comedian, and I understand that if you're a little bit more vanilla, you can get more money and you can do more corporate gigs and things like that. But that's just not authentic for me as a person. And if I'm going to come up with material that conservatives will like, um, 1 second, there's a truck passing. I still need to be challenging them in some way. And so the trick is me just putting together enough songs or enough material where I still feel like I'm fulfilling that artistic obligation to myself.
Mhm. Absolutely. And it's good that you have a mind to want to try to turn those types of situations.
Hmm.
Um, and it's good on you to even think about how to strategy. I'm gonna get them next time. The
Yeah.
strategy on how to get in there and kill. Um, what so far has probably been your favorite show or favorite performance?
Favorite one ever. Um, I think the handful of um when you do a show and it reaffirms for you that you're ready for newer, like I think like the first time I did like a 17-minute set somewhere, and I had never done a set that long before, and then I was able to do it and it worked. And that was like a show I did in it was like some little bar close to the border, and the moment of just being like, okay, I can do this. And then I did uh I did a show. I think I did a show actually like a week ago that I think was one of my favorite ones I ever did. I did it at Babs, and it was a 20-minute thing, and half of it was music, and half of it I did regular stand up. And to and it went well, and to feel like, okay, I'm actually at the point where I can handle doing this, and not only handle a wider time slot, but that I have the music is also ready to be there as strongly as the regular stand up. And and that I can actually like I have one comedy song. It's like a 7.5 minute song, and so to be able to sustain the comedy but also sustain the music all the way through has been something I've really had to work up to. Like I said, a few years ago I couldn't even play piano, and so that's it's that I think the one I did like a week ago is like my favorite show ever, just because it's like a milestone for me, not only with comedy but just me as a musician in terms of what I can do. It's taken a while to be able to do that.
But that's very dope for you to be able to say that again, to go from learning one part of it, then another part of it, then orchestrating and composing. Just it's very dope to me. I was a music minor. Um, almost. I was one credit shy from declaring that double minor in music. But the fact that you put all this into practice and you're building, gosh, it could be a symphonetta within the next, 3 years or so, because
Hmm.
you're putting that much in applying the craft and getting it on those stages and testing it out and seeing how tried and true it is. So kudos to you for even having the bravery to put that on stage as you're learning and growing, which is very awesome.
Thank you.
Who were some of your influences comedically?
Um, Tim Minchin was a huge one. I don't know if you like his musical comedy or not. But the Matilda and Groundhog Day are two amazing musicals. Groundhog Day is like my second favorite musical of all time. I saw it twice when it was running in New York. I just saw like a really shitty regional production of it. But the writing, I love the show so much that I can enjoy it even when the cast has no talent.
Mm.
And so Tim Minchin's been a huge one for me. Bo Burnham obviously has been a pretty big one. Um, and I a lot honestly a lot of my inspiration for comedy songwriting is from like I get from Sondheim,
Oh,
because
nice.
he, in my opinion, is like the cream of the crop as far as lyric writing, and so many of his songs are so funny. Is a lot of times when I'm looking to get better at writing comedy songs, I'll look at like the best musical theater writers more than I will at comedians. Yeah, Sondheim has written some very funny songs.
Nice. And I would agree. Uh, freshman year, I had a roommate from Plano, Texas, who was a theater major, and she played all kinds of musical
Hmm.
soundtracks, and I was beside myself.
Yeah,
I played all the Jay-Z and Prodigy. I'm talking loud Prodigy,
yeah,
like Keith Flint Prodigy. I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
I was playing everything I could that was big and bold and brassy that could counteract Pirates of Penzance.
yes,
Just
yes.
not that I didn't want to hear Pirates of Penzance, but if I hear that doggone Rent song one more time,
Give
I
me
got
1 second.
525,600 smacks for the next person that plays that damn song. Um, are you by a fountain?
Okay, I think I can hear you now. Can you repeat that question?
Oh, it went. What is it? Something sounds crunchy.
It is crunchy, isn't it? Let me let me click off and I'll log back in.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hey, y'all. It's been a very fun episode so far with Dana Norris. This is fun. I got a nice host feature headline for her. Um, I was just okay. There we go. All right, she's back. You know what, Dana?
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying. This is a little earlier in the show than I like to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway, just because.
Sure.
Host feature headline,
Yeah.
and your comedians are Tim Minchin,
Yeah.
Bo Burnham,
Yeah.
and Ricky Lindholm.
Ricky Lindholm? Stephen Sondheim.
I know, but I'm giving you Ricky Lindholm.
Okay. 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 So if that was like a show that I was gonna go see.
If you were going to produce this show,
Mm-hmm.
who was your host, who was your feature, and who was your headliner?
I would have Tim Minchin headline. I'd probably have Bo Burnham feature, and I'd have Ricky host.
Okay. Any particular reason?
Um, Probably just because I want Tim to headline because Tim is my favorite, and then Bo would be my second favorite, and Ricky would be my third favorite. So that's just probably why.
Understandable. Understandable. And I tossed her in there because I'm like, I know she done heard some of Ricky's new tracks, hadn't she? Because I follow Ricky on Instagram and she's just brilliant. And just has
Yeah.
always been um, very brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name of her. What was it? Garfunkel and Oates. She used to do with Kate
Yes.
Minicucci.
Yeah. 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 Fuck me in the ass because I love Jesus is always a classic.
Lord of mercy. Yes, and Kate Micucci, the great Kate Micucci. I wonder what Kate's up to these days.
Yeah.
That's a throwback. I was a huge fan of At Midnight back in the day when it first started with Chris Hardwick on Comedy Central.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I the 2010s and stuff. I was definitely watching a lot of Comedy Central and loving them folks. So
Yeah.
um, what was I gonna say about musical comedy? What's the next step for you in musical comedy?
Mm-hmm. So the show. So I'm currently working on a stage musical. I want to do several different runs of it, but like I said, I'm like 6 drafts into that. That is something that I'm going to be working on for another couple of years, only to get it to where I want to get it to. And then I'm making a musical comedy album right now because
Nice.
when it comes time for me to actually produce this show, it's called Faceplant. I want to have enough of an established reputation as a musical comic and enough basically trust from people who have seen me perform that if I say, hey, I've written a musical comedy, I would love for you to come see it, people actually have faith that it would be funny and entertaining and not bad.
Yeah.
Because a lot of musicals are bad. And so I'm for me in comedy right now, I'm in the process of working on building a comedy album.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to hearing the play by play and hearing about the progress and hopefully being around to see you working on some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you feel about social media and stand up? Is it a blessing or a curse?
I think it's like a double-edged sword, which I know sounds like I'm trying to not give an answer, but I'm not. It is a blessing in the sense that art is more democratized now, so more people have a chance to get seen. It's a curse in that people are so busy trying to have a solid social media presence that they're not putting the time and energy into the craft that they would need to be a certain level of excellent, because it's hard to focus on a lot of things at once. It's hard to focus on developing a viral following and be a certain level of quality as a performer. And so the I have read some books about social media strategies and things like that. I intend to fully work on actually building that following in when I'm at a point where I feel like I am starting to feel good about where I'm at with quality. But at least just for me personally, until I am at a place where I'm happy with myself as an artist, I don't want to start giving my full attention to social media when to me the art isn't there yet. And so, and everyone's different. Everyone handles comedy differently. And, but I think to go back to the we all just have to be who we are thing, everyone kind of has to follow their truth. And so for some people, having a really big following and maybe not prioritizing quality as much is more the path that feels aligned for them. Whenever I try to do things that don't feel intuitive or instinctual, karma always hits me in the face really fast.
Mm.
Anytime I kind of start living out of alignment with that truth. So I guess that's my big broad answer to it. And also that every other person I know has a big following on socials, and just like when everyone has something, it stops being as valued.
Yeah.
I think we're going to hit a point in the future where if every other person we know has a large following, large followings will start to mean less and less at a certain point. And then I think we're kind of already getting to that point where it's more about how many tickets can you actually sell than how big of a following do you actually have. I've talked to comics in the city who have big online followings who have said to me, Dana, realistically, I can get maybe 5 people that follow me in a city to a show, even though I have this huge following. And so, because they're 2 different goals. Like the goal of a large following versus the goal of selling a bunch of tickets are 2 completely different goals. And like, yeah, I will ramble off on a tangent, but that's my big answer to the social media thing.
You see that those 2 issues are where comics keep bumping their heads against.
Yeah.
And I totally understand. I am old school enough still to be a champion of art that's done craftily versus art for art's sake that's put out just for metrics.
Yeah.
I've unfortunately been on one side of that because with starting with virtual, some powers that be gave me some super user privileges. I ain't gonna knock it. And I was able to log in every day and see, oh, you're holding on to your streak. You're holding on to your streak. You're holding on to your streak. And now, because I don't take it as seriously anymore, or because I'm not beholden to it, and it's not every day, oh, I gotta. Now it's like, oh, you're a conversation starter when you feel like it. Oh, you're a rising star when you feel like it. And I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure I pissed a lot of people off for 3 or 4 years being top of their feed on Facebook. And that's okay because the powers that be gave me that, not them. Anyway, hi. Oh, Lord, I didn't ranted her away. Well, I know it's 47 minutes or so in, and I hope the poor baby ain't holding her whole arm up the whole time. Okay. You been holding this up the whole time? You holding the phone up the whole time?
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to.
It's just every so often when she switches off and she joins back and winds up sounding like she underwater or crunching that plastic bottle. So I just want to go ahead one more time and give Dana's arm a rest because it's been 48 great minutes. Okay. I was just saying, it's like it sounded a little crunchy. I think it's better. Okay. What was my other question I was gonna ask? I'm gonna say that one for very last. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, young lady?
In a Broadway show. Ideally, one that I've written or co-written.
I like that. I like that answer a lot. I love that answer, Dana. I love that answer so much. I can be your accountability buddy as we go on to that. Because don't get me wrong, these past few times I've been in New York, like, what's the heck I got to do to get on Broadway?
Yeah. Like the industry is kind of, it's the wild, wild west right now. And there are so many people who get onto Broadway who are so bad. And who are so bad, and they're there because someone paid for their career. And I saw the national tour of Hadestown come to Chicago. It was terrible.
Oh no.
Like I some of these performers, I'm like, somebody paid for you to be here because you are so egregiously bad. You could not have been in a national tour of this show if someone didn't pay for you to be there.
Damn. Well, I was just saying because there still is Broadway is still very, very happening, and it's not just, oh, we got Denzel Washington for $900. Come see him.
Yeah.
Like it's still out there and happening for people. There's still plays. There's still shows that are on Broadway and off Broadway to showcase talents. There
Yeah.
are actors and actresses and comedians and musicians and contortionists and everybody needed for these shows too. And just to be in such an amazing, electric, creative scene as New York City has, I just love the idea of seeing what you've done come to that space and
Yeah.
being in one of those theaters, because there's lots of theaters, there's lots of
Hmm.
stages, lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
um I love the idea of visualizing with you your name and lights for that show.
Thank you. I
Okay,
appreciate that.
5 years. Yeah, watch them 5 years, watch them. We coming,
I
baby, we coming 5 years, we coming.
I there are a lot of steps that need to happen to get from point A to point B. And it's my best friend Kyle says it's about closing the gap between where you are and where you want to be. There's a lot of steps in between that have to happen. And so that's what I'm dealing with right now, as the steps that have to happen to get from point A to point B. And yeah, I just have to be patient and actually just do the work.
And you are a testament to being patient and doing the work. You are definitely a testament to doing the work, getting the game plan together first off, and then doing the work. Because so
Thank
kudos
you.
to you for keeping it organized and setting your goals and meeting them. What shows or projects do you have coming up that you want to shout out? Oh no, she froze. Dana, did you froze in mid? Thank you. Yes, she froze in mid. Thank you. Oh, just as I was getting ready. Okay, fingers crossed that she can bounce back onto the screen without having to rejoin. StreamYard might be finicky, the internet connection might be finicky. It's gonna move. It's gonna move. I hope it's gonna move. No, it's not moving. Okay. Let's figure out what's going on with Dana's connection because I'm trying to wrap the show. I just wanted to ask a new question. Oh, how's your Mercury and Gatorade going? Because mine is going crazy. I don't dip this Mercury in orange Gatorade or something. Give it another flavor. Put it in that Arctic Blast or something. Help it out. This ain't. This has been quite a week already, and it's Tuesday evening. Speaking of having quite a week already, I'll just go ahead and say it. Joke Sister Chicago is now fourth Saturdays, y'all. Fourth Saturdays of the month. So those previous dates that I gave y'all, the previous flyers and all that, I got to go back and add a day and double check and make sure everybody's still with it. Right now, most of August show is still reconfirmed for August Saturday, 23rd. Still with Kels the Comet, Amber Walker, Tiny Thickums, me. I'm waiting on Joy Gamby and Chevy Devi to reconfirm with me that they can still do that August date. That's going to be a hot show. We were hot on Saturday night, y'all. We were hot at the Lincoln Lodge up on Saturday night. We had a nice crowd for a good time with me, Laura Hug, Zoe Dodson, and Victoria Vincent. Went crazy. Just the four of us doing 18 to 20 minutes and just letting it all go. And them folks looked happy. It was a good time. Enjoyed myself. I'm just gonna double check, share a screen. I ain't sharing no two monitors, but here, this is what I'm sharing, y'all. Again, August 23rd, Saturday, Joke Sisters in its fourth Saturday spot at the Lincoln Lodge. We are the late show, 9:30 to 11 o'clock. We gonna close it down. And again, you see that beautiful lineup of these beautiful ladies. And me. I am one of said beautiful ladies. Again, just waiting on Chevy Devi to reconfirm and waiting on Joy Gamby to reconfirm. And We had a ball. We had such a ball that let me go to that's here we go. Projects. Private. We go on here. We gonna add this as a new page. Oh, I added it as a new page, but just so you can see. Imagine there's music going. It's Victoria up there killing it. Victoria was going ham, y'all. Zoe was killing it. Zoe had just got off a long shift and every day, and so she got a good rant going on. It was real fun. Sorry that's dark. Sorry I didn't get a picture of me, but yeah, I'm sitting up there looking like a little old street urchin. But that's all right because that dress cost $60 damn. Um, Let me press pause. It was a good time. It was a very good time. Don't be looking at this is random. I know that's random. Special buddies, whatever. But yeah, Joke Sister Chicago, we got a good thing going. Make sure that you lock it into bit.ly/joke sisters shy. And I'm going to type that in there just so you guys have it. And you can hit this all the rest of the year because we are booked at the Lincoln Lodge up through the rest of the year. Hit that bit.ly/joke sisters shy. Get your tickets in advance. Lineups are still fire. And I just want to go back through that one more time. Why am I in uploads? I'm in uploads because you see some stuff you shouldn't be seeing, but I just want to tell you, because all my designs are popping up now. All designs. I just want to tell y'all, I think this show is still going on as is. It's not going to be Friday, it's going to be Saturday. Let me change that while we talking. And the one and only Kristen Toomey has already confirmed she can still do it. So, no, Saturday, November 29th, Joe Sister Chicago at the Lincoln Lodge. Welcomes the one and only, the great, the hilarious. There should be a household name already. Kristen Toomey, everybody. I don't have one of them little clap and yay things, but I'm just, that was, y'all, Saturday, November 29th, still hoping that Jamie Schreiner, our Leader Hall, and Joy Gamby can still make that one. But if not, Kristen Toomey is still there. God, I'm just sorry. I just get giddy. I just loves me some her. She's awesome. So yeah, Joke Sister Shy. We out here, we doing it. And I hope to see y'all at these shows because these lineups are fire. And 10% of proceeds go to the Black Women in Comedy Laugh Fest based in Brooklyn, New York, where we do beautiful shows celebrating Black sisterhood and stand up and have mental health. Phone died. Oh, that's what happened. Dana's phone died. So sorry to Dana's phone. R.I.P. Dana's phone. Y'all follow Dana Norris on social media so that you can keep in touch with her and get to know what she has going on. Ooh, Sorry, hold on for 1 second. I'm not trying to not get right with this, but and then there's more than one Dana Norris in the way. Here we go. This Dana Norris, y'all. I just want to make sure you see her stuff. Here we go. Oh, wow. I'm just clicking on this just because. Wait. Let's start that again just because. Hold on.
You guys are always asking me what their dick tastes like. I'm like, I don't know, skin. What the fuck do you think this is gonna taste like? Like, I feel like suck their dick, I'm gonna be like, blueberry pie? You know, like, strawberry shortcake? Like, it's the scene from Willy Wonka with the gum. That's the 3-course meal. By the way, when I do suck dick, this is exactly how I do it. I get into a deep squat. Deep, you gotta get deep. That's how you get all the flavor. Guys are always asking me what their dick tastes like. I'm like, I don't know, skin.
Sorry, I had to. Just because that was a good one. Nevertheless, Joke Sisters Shy, we are going to try to get Dana on a future Joke Sisters. It'll be early next year, I think, since we're already booked up through the year. My next show is actually next Saturday, August 9th, at the Bit Theater out here in Aurora for It Ain't My Fault with the homie Just Jeff. We are producing a great show. And again, we got some hitters. The one and only Arlita Hall. Arlita's been on fire. She just featured for the great Kelly Howard at Kelly's recent comedy taping last week, alongside LaRoyce Hawkins from Chicago PD and all that. Very, very funny, brother. Very funny. Arlita's amazing. She set off Joke Sisters 1 here in Chicago amazingly, and I'm so excited to have her back on It Ain't My Fault. And then also the great Ray Wisbrock. Y'all like Anthony Jeselnik? You like it dark? You like them dark and dirty jokes? Well, darker than dirtier. The one and only Ray Wisbrock has it for you. On top of that, he's a joke smith, longtime writer in his professional life. That man is a joke surgeon. And I remember booking him for a show that I had mostly black comics and then Ray. And my mama loved him. All the other older black ladies in there was like, ooh, that creepy man, but he's funny. You know, like, he's very funny, y'all. Great show out here in Aurora. Tell people It Ain't My Fault comedy at the Bit Theater. Second Saturday of this month, but first Saturday of every month going forward. And we have great shows out here. Y'all, it's your girl, Erica Switzer. I'm on social media. I'm everywhere. You know I'm here on YouTube. And don't forget, Joke Sisters Shy. Tell your people in Chicago. Tell your people in the Chicago area. Tell anybody within an hour of Chicago. Joke Sisters Shy has it going on. We got some badass lineups coming up, like I told you. It's your girl, Erica Switzer. Don't forget, I'm here every Tuesday night through September, chatting it up for your comedy bestie. Y'all, take care of yourself. Shout out to my comedy bestie. Shout out to my real life besties, and shout out to my mama, because she part of my besties too. I saw y'all coming in here, peeking in and watching. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll be back here next Tuesday. Be good out there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll holla. It's your girl, Erica. Love you. Bye.